Tragic secrets that cost Randolph Scott his life and career. Randolph Scott was a true American hero, born on January 23, 1898, in Orange County, Virginia. His early years on the family farm immersed him in the rugged, natural landscape of the rural South, a world defined by hard work, discipline, and a deep connection to the land. This environment would not only influence his grounded and stoic persona but also instill in him a sense of independence and perseverance, qualities that would later shape his image as one of Hollywood's most iconic Western stars. Growing up surrounded by the rolling hills and lush countryside of Virginia, Scott's rural upbringing offered him a unique perspective on the values of strength, simplicity, and honor that he would embody in his film roles. From a young age, Scott exhibited a wide range of talents, with early interests in sports, music, and theater. His natural athleticism saw him excelling in various sports, particularly football, which he pursued with passion. The discipline and teamwork he learned from sports would later enhance his on-screen portrayals of characters who were often stoic, resilient, and capable of standing alone or leading a group of men through dangerous trials. His love for music and theater, however, also hinted at his creative side. He was drawn to the performing arts, finding joy in both musical performance and drama. This artistic inclination was nurtured throughout his youth and would later become the foundation for his acting career. Scott's thirst for adventure and desire to test his limits led him to enroll at the prestigious Virginia Military Institute. At Virginia Military Institute, he honed not only his physical abilities but also his leadership skills. The rigorous military training, coupled with the institute's emphasis on honor, loyalty, and discipline, helped to further shape the characteristics that would become synonymous with Scott's screen presence. His time at VMI also marked the beginning of his exploration into the world of acting. While many of his peers were focused solely on military training, Scott pursued his interest in theater and drama. He took part in numerous plays and musicals, gaining valuable experience and discovering a passion for performance. It was during this time that the seeds of his future career in entertainment were sown. After serving in World War I, where he demonstrated the same courage and commitment that would later define many of his on-screen characters, Scott found himself drawn to the vibrant world of the arts. The war had left him with a heightened sense of adventure and a desire to explore new opportunities, and it was this sense of curiosity that led him to New York City. In the roaring 1920s, New York was a hub of cultural and artistic activity, a perfect environment for a young man eager to make his mark in the entertainment world. Scott worked various jobs to support himself while honing his craft, taking acting lessons and performing in stage productions. His persistence paid off, and by the late 1920s, he had begun to catch the attention of Hollywood talent scouts. In 1928, Scott signed a contract with Paramount Pictures, marking the beginning of his transition from the stage to the silver screen. Hollywood was in the midst of its own transformation, with the silent film era giving way to the talkies, and Scott arrived at a time when new stars were being born. He made his film debut during the tail end of the silent era, appearing in several smaller roles before finally gaining recognition as a leading man. His tall, athletic frame and rugged good looks made him a natural fit for the Western genre, a style of film that celebrated the spirit of individualism and frontier justice. These roles would soon come to define his career. The 1930s saw Scott's star rise rapidly. As Hollywood entered its golden age, Scott became one of the most sought-after actors, particularly in the Western genre. His ability to project a strong, silent demeanor, combined with his undeniable screen presence, made him a natural fit for roles that called for a man of few words but great action. He quickly became a symbol of the quintessential American hero, embodying the values of courage, resilience, and justice. Films like The Virginian and Ride the High Country were major hits, and Scott's portrayal of brave, honorable men navigating the lawless frontier captivated audiences around the world. The golden age of Hollywood, spanning from the late 1920s to the late 1950s, was a period of immense creativity and cultural influence. This era produced some of the most iconic and beloved films in cinema history, and actors like Randolph Scott became household names. The Western genre, in particular, flourished during this time, as it resonated with American audiences who were drawn to stories of independence, survival, and moral clarity. Scott, with his calm demeanor and commanding presence, was perfectly suited to these roles. His performances in films such as Seven Men from Now and The Tall T cemented his status as one of the great stars of the genre, and his films became box office hits that were eagerly anticipated by moviegoers. By the 1940s and 1950s, Scott's reputation as one of Hollywood's top leading men was firmly established. He had developed a persona that audiences adored: strong, silent, dependable, and ruggedly handsome. Whether he was riding across the open plains on horseback or standing tall against a backdrop of vast deserts, Scott exuded a sense of quiet confidence that made him a natural leader. His characters were often men of principle, willing to fight for justice and protect the innocent, qualities that made Scott a beloved figure on screen. Scott's appeal was not just limited to his Western films. He had a versatility that allowed him to appear in comedies, dramas, and action films, though it was the Western genre where he truly made his mark. His ability to convey complex emotions without speaking much, relying on subtle facial expressions and body language, made him a master of the strong, silent type. This persona resonated with post-war audiences who admired characters that embodied traditional American values of strength, honor, and perseverance. Scott's contribution to film, particularly to the Western genre, cannot be overstated. His work helped shape the archetype of the American cowboy, and his legacy continues to influence modern depictions of Western heroes. With his chiseled features, quiet demeanor, and unshakable sense of morality, Randolph Scott became an enduring symbol of the American West, and his films remained timeless classics that continue to be enjoyed by generations of fans. Randolph Scott's unwavering patriotism and deep love for his country were evident throughout his life, but most notably during World War II, when he took a significant break from his successful acting career to serve in the United States Army. At the height of his fame in the early 1940s, Scott chose duty over Hollywood glamour, setting aside his burgeoning career to enlist in the military. His commitment reflected a broader sense of national responsibility, as many of his peers in the film industry did the same. However, Scott's decision to serve was driven not by public pressure but by genuine devotion to the United States. He spent several years serving his country, which would later become a defining chapter in his life and further solidified his reputation as a man of principle and honor. His service during the war demonstrated his willingness to put country before personal gain, a value that would continue to resonate throughout his career and personal life. After the war, Scott returned to Hollywood, where he was warmly welcomed back. However, the film industry, much like the world, had changed, and his return was met with mixed success. As the 1940s came to a close, audience tastes began to shift toward newer styles and different genres. Scott, who had become synonymous with the rugged and heroic cowboy persona, found that Westerns were no longer the dominant genre they had once been. Nevertheless, Scott, undeterred by the ebb and flow of popularity, continued to make films that resonated with his core audience. His steadfastness in the face of changing trends underscored his dedication to his craft and his refusal to be defined by fleeting public tastes. He embraced the challenges of an evolving industry, continuing to work with the same work ethic and commitment that had made him a star. In the 1950s and 1960s, as the entertainment industry transitioned more toward television, Scott found new opportunities to showcase his talent. He starred in popular television shows, including The Wild Wild West and The Virginian, which allowed him to reach an even broader audience. These shows highlighted Scott's versatility as an actor, proving that he could excel in both film and television. Unlike many of his contemporaries who struggled to make the transition to television, Scott adapted seamlessly, displaying his natural charisma and acting prowess on the small screen. His enduring appeal to audiences of all ages was evident as he maintained a steady presence in both mediums. This ability to adapt and stay relevant in an ever-changing industry was a testament to Scott's resilience and his unwavering connection with his audience. Throughout his long and storied career, Scott remained true to his roots and to the values he held dear, including his sense of duty, loyalty, and patriotism. He never lost sight of the ideals that had shaped him, even as he rose to the heights of fame. His contributions to entertainment and popular culture were not just confined to his roles but extended to the way he conducted himself in his personal life, always maintaining a strong sense of integrity and humility. To this day, Randolph Scott's legacy in Hollywood remains one of honor, professionalism, and a steadfast commitment to his craft, and his work continues to captivate and inspire new generations of viewers. In addition to his television success, Scott worked alongside some of the most famous and influential actors and directors of his time. His career was filled with memorable collaborations that helped to shape his legacy. Scott co-starred with legendary actors such as Cary Grant, with whom he shared a close personal friendship, Gary Cooper, and John Wayne. These partnerships not only elevated his status in Hollywood but also allowed him to further refine his on-screen persona. Scott's association with directors such as Howard Hawks, Raoul Walsh, and John Ford placed him in the company of some of the greatest filmmakers of his era. These directors, known for their ability to craft iconic films, often cast Scott in roles that took full advantage of his natural stoicism and rugged charm. These collaborations resulted in some of the most enduring films in Hollywood history and cemented Scott's place as a key figure in the pantheon of Western film stars. As the 1960s arrived, Hollywood underwent a significant transformation. The rise of new actors, the decline of the Western genre, and changing public tastes led to a reduction in the number of roles available to seasoned actors like Scott. Despite his declining popularity in feature films, Scott continued to act in a number of productions. He remained committed to his craft, even though the opportunities were fewer. The rise of younger actors and the shift towards more modern and complex cinematic themes often left Scott on the periphery of the rapidly changing industry. However, he continued to act in films and occasionally appeared in television productions throughout the 1960s and into the early 1970s, refusing to completely step away from the industry that had defined his life for so long. As film roles became scarcer, Scott's focus gradually shifted to television, where he found steady work. He appeared in popular TV shows such as Wagon Train and The Virginian, which allowed him to maintain his connection with audiences, even as the film landscape evolved. Additionally, Scott explored other avenues in the entertainment industry, including voiceover work, which demonstrated his willingness to adapt and take on new challenges. Though his film career had slowed down, Scott remained an active and respected figure in Hollywood, admired for his professionalism and dedication. His continued involvement in television and other projects kept him in the public eye and allowed him to extend his influence beyond the silver screen. After more than 3 decades of a remarkable career, Randolph Scott made the decision to retire from acting in 1965, following the release of his final film, Ride the High Country. His retirement marked the end of an era, as Scott had been one of the last remaining stars from Hollywood's golden age, particularly in the Western genre. In his later years, Scott enjoyed the recognition and accolades that his contributions had earned him. He was honored with several awards, including tributes from various film organizations that celebrated his impact on the Western genre and his lasting legacy. Scott lived out his retirement in relative quiet, but his influence on the entertainment industry was undeniable. Randolph Scott was married 3 times during his lifetime, each marriage representing different periods in his life. His first marriage was to Margaret Herbert, a union that began in 1928. At the time, Scott was still finding his footing in Hollywood, and the pressures of building a career while maintaining a relationship may have contributed to the strain in their marriage. They divorced in 1930, after just 2 years. His second marriage was to actress Marceline Day in 1933, known for her work in silent films such as The Cameraman, 1928. However, like his first marriage, this relationship was short-lived, and the couple divorced in 1934. This period of Scott's life was marked by professional growth but personal instability, as he navigated the tumultuous waters of early Hollywood and his own ambitions. Scott's third and final marriage, however, was the one that lasted and brought him a sense of stability. He married Patricia Stillman in 1936, and their union endured for more than 5 decades, lasting until Scott's death in 1987. Their marriage was considered a rare success story in Hollywood, where long-lasting marriages were often hard to come by. Patricia became a constant source of support in Scott's life, and together, they raised 2 children whom they adopted, Christopher and Sandra. Scott's family life with Patricia became a sanctuary away from the spotlight, allowing him to find the balance between his personal and professional worlds. His marriage to Patricia is often credited as a key to his happiness in his later years, providing him with emotional grounding and a stable home life, a stark contrast to the frenetic pace of his film career. In the years leading up to his death, Scott faced significant health issues, particularly a weakened heart and breathing problems. His condition worsened as he aged, and he was hospitalized several times due to pneumonia. Despite his declining health, Scott remained dignified and kept much of his suffering private. His death on March 2, 1987, at the age of 89, marked the end of an era for Hollywood's golden age. He passed away in the comfort of his Beverly Hills home, leaving behind a legacy that would continue to resonate with fans of classic westerns and cinema lovers alike. His marriage to Patricia had lasted 51 years, a testament to the strength of their bond and a rare achievement in Hollywood's fast-paced and often fleeting world of relationships. One of the more speculative and controversial aspects of Scott's life has always been his close friendship with fellow actor Cary Grant. The two shared a home for several years in the 1930s, and rumors about their relationship have persisted over the decades. While both men publicly dated women, the nature of their bond has been the subject of debate. Some suggest that their relationship was more than just a friendship, pointing to the strong connection they had while living together in what was playfully dubbed Bachelor Hall. Randolph Scott died tragically and unexpectedly one day after revealing his secret. He met Cary Grant, they dated, and their romantic relationship was undeniably strong. In Scott's final years, he was very ill, with a weak heart and breathing problems, and he was hospitalized several times with pneumonia. Randolph Scott's death marked the end of a remarkable life, but his legacy lived on. His contribution to cinema, particularly the Western genre, has been profound. Even today, his films remain popular with audiences around the world, appreciated for their authenticity and timeless appeal. Scott's on-screen presence exuded charm and rugged masculinity, traits that endeared him to generations of fans. His ability to capture the spirit of the American West, its vast landscapes, its code of honor, and its sense of adventure, cemented his place in the annals of film history. Scott's westerns, often characterized by their understated heroism and moral clarity, continue to be celebrated as some of the finest examples of the genre. In addition to his work in westerns, Scott also had notable roles in other genres, but it was the cowboy archetype that became synonymous with his name. Beyond his contributions to cinema, Scott's legacy endures as a testament to the values he represented: honor, integrity, and resilience. Whether you're a lifelong fan or discovering his work for the first time, Randolph Scott's performances leave a lasting impression. His films serve as a window into a bygone era of Hollywood, where the Western was king, and his influence can still be seen in modern films that seek to recapture the magic of the genre. Scott's impact on popular culture is undeniable, and his portrayal of the American cowboy remains iconic. His name continues to evoke images of the Old West, and his work has inspired countless actors, directors, and filmmakers who seek to preserve the legacy of the Western in contemporary cinema. His success in Hollywood was not just a result of his good looks and on-screen charisma. Scott was known for his professionalism and his ability to deliver consistently strong performances. He worked hard to embody the characters he portrayed, often going to great lengths to ensure that his portrayals were authentic. His determination and dedication allowed him to achieve greatness, becoming one of the most beloved and enduring stars of the Western genre. Even after his retirement from acting, Scott's legacy continued to inspire new generations of filmmakers and actors who admired his work ethic and commitment to his craft. His life serves as a reminder of the timeless appeal of the classic Western and the enduring impact of a true Hollywood legend.